Hello, namaste and greetings everyone. This is me Reet Kafle with you all again with a new story today. I would like to wish everyone happy International Elimination of Women Violence Day today on 25th of November. Today I got a story related to women violence itself, so let's hear and see the title first. Okay, the title of our story is Behind the Lie. The author of the story is Katha4Nepal and illustrator is Aindri KC. So without any further delay, let's get into the story, shall we? Yes. Okay. As soon as their father left for work, Ramesh swept up the broken glass while Valli made tea. Though she was only 8 years, she had already learned how to make strong sweet tea that their mother liked. In between sips, Amma held the warm glass of tea, throbbing her head and to her swollen cheek. I fell. I tripped. The glass shattered when I dropped it. These were Amma's usual excuses. And no one looked beyond what she said, not even when the children started repeating the lies. Buying bread for the third time in a row? Asked Murugan, the owner of the neighborhood store. There weren't many customers at his store that morning, so he chatted with Valli as he entered her purchases into account book. If your Amma is still not well enough to cook, why don't you take her to the hospital or see the doctor? It's not that kind of illness, Murugan Anna. Valli sighed. What kind of illness is it then? Murugan persisted. Just that her arm is hurting very badly because she tripped on the road and fell straight on her shoulder. Valli repeated her mother's lie. He discussed it with his wife, Sarasa, later that evening and was shocked to hear the truth that Valli's mother Meenakshi was suffering like that. It's not tripping or falling. It's her monster of a husband. Looks like he wouldn't hurt a fly, but that's just a mask. Poor Meenakshi, he puts up all his blows and beatings to protect his children. Murugan was very upset. I didn't know this. Why didn't you tell me earlier? We should have done something. After all, both families had lived on the same street for years. It wasn't right that Meenakshi and her children should suffer like this. You mean you never noticed? Sarasa was surprised. Meenakshi's bruises, the cut lip, the weeks ago. It breaks my heart. She sighed. But what can we do? Interfering might only make things worse. Murugan wondered how he could help without making things worse for Meenakshi and her children. He thought it deeply before coming up with a plan. The help Murugan arranged arrived at Valli's door some days later. It came wearing a wide smile on khaki police uniform. I am Sub-Inspector Jaya, the young policewoman introduced herself. My uncle Murugan Mama asked me to visit you. I got off my duty early today, so I stopped here on my way home. See, the policewoman came at Valli's house. Luckily for Valli and her family, Appa was traveling on work. When their father was at home, the three of them lived under a cloud of fear, always scared about doing something that could set off his violent temper. Don't make Appa angry, Meenakshi would beg her children every day. No singing, Ramesh. Please don't bounce the ball, Valli. Sub-Inspector Jaya listened patiently when the children told her all the things. Then she and Amma spoke in low voices for a long time while the children did their homework. When it was time to leave, Jaya insisted that they note down her phone number. "You can call me anytime, day or night, and if I can't come myself, I'll have the beat policeman at your door in minutes," she promised. "But I don't have any phone," Amma pointed out. "My husband refuses to let me have one." Jaya made Amma write down her phone number anyway. "This terrible situation is not your fault," were her parting words to them as she got onto her bike. "This violence is not okay, and 3 of you should never suffer in silence thinking it is normal. Meenakshi, you must think about what we've discussed and do some of the things that I've suggested." After she left, Valli asked Amma what Jaya meant. "The sub-inspector wants me to write someone in our family telling them how things are. She says we should not keep hiding our problem, that we should share our problem with people who care for us. She also said I could file a complaint at a police station if I wanted, but I don't know what to do. Will any of this really help us?" Ramesh nodded gloomingly. He was moody and suspicious of everyone these days, more so ever since he too had become the target of Appa's anger whenever he rushed to help Amma. "The sub-inspector wouldn't have given us her personal number anyway. Try calling that number," he challenged his mother and sister bitterly. "I bet you a full bar of chocolate that you'll just get a recorded message, or no one will answer. Let's write to someone first then. Why not write to Pati?" Valli knew Appa was little scared of his mother. It took few days, but Amma did finally write to Pati. Then they all waited eagerly for reply. A visit from Pati would be nice. She was strict with them, but what fun they had when she was visited, bringing tins of homemade snacks with her. She would braid Valli's hair in nude way each day and play cricket with them in a tiny lane. Amma would join them sometimes. Pati and Ramesh would sing together at home, and though Appa would look very irritated and he would control his temper with Pati where he was here. Yes, their grandmother would tell Appa that his violence was not acceptable. But when 2 weeks passed with no answer from Pati, all three grew downcast. What could they do next? They wondered sadly. Appa had been traveling, and when he returned, he had some news for them. "My mother called me a few days ago," she said gruffly. "She's arriving here tomorrow. She wants to stay few months." "Months? I can't understand why." Here he flung some money on the kitchen counter. "Pay the bill at the store and don't forget to buy my mother's special brand of coffee when you buy provisions for the month." As soon as he left, slamming the door angrily behind him, the children jumped with excitement. "Give us a little of that money to buy sweets, Amma," Ramesh pleaded. Amma agreed. More rare than money, she gave each of them was half smile on her face. See, Ramesh and Valli very happy having their grandmother coming home. Okay. the way to school, Valli made Ramesh stop at Murugan's store. After Sub-Inspector Jaya's visit to their home, Murugan made it a point to talk to the children whenever he could. He was busy when they entered the store, so Valli prodded Ramesh to the place where the sweets were displayed. "You had better buy that full bar of chocolate before you spend your money on anything else," she demanded, "because I'm surely going to win the bet." It took Ramesh a minute to remember the bet that he had made the day when Sub-Inspector Jaya had visited. He laughed and told his sister to hurry up. When Valli had chosen what she wanted, she went up to the Murugan and asked whether she could make a call from his phone. She dialed Jaya's number. "Yes, Murugan Mama," answered a familiar voice at the other end. Valli wiggled her thumb to Ramesh, so much for him thinking that policewoman wouldn't answer their call. "Jaya Akka, it's me, Valli. Is everything all right, Valli? Do you need help?" Jaya sounded concerned. "We are fine, Akka, and I just called to tell you that my party is coming to stay with us for a few months. Because Amma wrote telling her about Appa, and now bad things were." "That's such a good news, and now you also know how to reach me, right? You can call me anytime for help." The call over and Murugan's many questions answered. The children started unwrapping the chocolate as they left the store. Valli's heart felt lighter, not just because of the chocolate they were sharing, not even because of the whole extra bar she had won from her brother, but because for the first time in months she could hear Ramesh singing softly to himself as they walked to school. Wow, wasn't it a great story? I hope you learned so many things about violence and how to tackle the situation, how to take help and all. So how children can cope with violence in the home. Let's hear something and let's know something about this too. Children who live with an abusive or violent parent often feel scared or angry or ashamed. This is only natural. If you know anyone in this situation, let them know that no one should suffer in silence or violence. And together, no one should suffer violence in silence. All children and adults have the right to live in safety, especially within their home. The violence is never the child's fault. The child's actions or behavior does not cause the violence. Violence in home is a crime. In India, the law provides protection to children and women. Once the crime is reported, those found guilty of the crime will be punished. Same here in Nepal and most of the Asian countries, when the law provides protection to children and women who face these kinds of issues. When the children cannot act on their own to report abuse, their friends and classmates can help by suggesting they share the problem with trusted people for the following up until they do. Trusted adults could be grandparents, aunt, uncles, neighbors, school principals, teachers, anyone they feel comfortable. Discussing the problem with their own parents and seeking for help. Calling on their behalf if required, like there are various child helpline numbers you can call and seek for the help if you need any kind of protection, if you are facing child abuse, violence against parent at home, or any crime against children. So this is the end of story today. Let's all work together and make our society a better place to live. Thank you. Namaste.